Today we are going to analyze the British pound to the US dollar using Pepperstone, and this is the chart right here, and we are on the daily chart. So what we're gonna do, we are going to learn how to use the Fibonacci retracement and how to analyze using the Fibonacci retracement. So the first step is to establish the highs and the lows of the chart. So what do? You come here, you click on the repetitive sign, and we click on the arrow. Once we click on the arrow, we pick any of a certain range, any pattern of a certain range. So I'm going to start right here. So we're going to draw an arrow. So again, we're gonna just draw an arrow from this low to this high. So you establish the tip points. So the tip point was this low, and the next tip point was here. This is where the trend ends, and if you look closely, this is a green candle that is followed by two red candles, which makes it a significant pullback from this trend that's going up. So there's a trend that's going up, then there's a trend that goes down for a little bit, then it goes up for a little bit, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. So basically we're drawing arrows from the different tip points of the different momentums. So follow along as we draw arrows from the tipping points. Is the lowest tip point to the highest tip point, to the lowest tip point to the highest tip point, and so on and so forth. Highest to the lowest tip point, to the lowest tip point to the highest tip point, to the lowest, to the highest, to the lowest, to the highest, to the lowest, right there, to the highest. Also, something to add on, when there are small red candles like these that are not as significant, we ignore them and you continue following the trend when the momentum is high. So a small candle like that is red, it's not necessarily a momentum because the pullback was not as strong. As you can see, even the shadows are not as strong. So if you see a small momentum like this, just ignore it and follow the trend that is more of a momentum. So again, we continue. That's a fall, and that's the highest tipping point, the lowest, and that is the current trend. So as you can see, we have a low, a high, 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 so on and so forth up to the current trend. So we've already established how to draw arrows and how to establish a momentum as seen on the screen. So we are going to try and draw arrows again on a different pair. So we are gonna go to the US dollar against the Japanese yen, and we are going to establish the momentum and draw arrows. Again, arrows are drawn from the lowest point to the highest point of a momentum. So again, we'll establish a phase in which we want to draw the arrows from so we can identify the trend. Okay, I'm gonna start from this tip point. So we draw an arrow from the highest point to the lowest point, from the lowest point to the highest point, and as we continue on, we are going to draw arrows from the highest tipping point, ignoring the insignificant momentums, following the biggest momentum. As we go up, as we go down to the lowest tipping point, highest to the lowest, to the highest, to the lowest, and as we go on, we'll do as is the current one. So as you can see, the arrows dictate the highest tipping point, the lowest tipping point of our momentum to the highest tipping point of our momentum. And as you can see on this particular red arrow, we ignored it because it was not stronger than the big momentum that was going on. So we ignore it and we follow the momentum. That's why I drew this long arrow. Okay, we've established how to draw arrows on this pair. We're gonna do a different pair. We're gonna do the pound against the New Zealand dollar, and we are gonna draw arrows on it. We're gonna draw arrows on it. So what you do, you establish the phase in which you want to analyze. In my case, I want to analyze this phase right here. So we draw our arrows. I want to establish and draw it from this low tipping point. So let's start. Low to the highest, to the lowest, to the highest, to the lowest, to the highest. As you can see, we're gonna continue to the lowest. That's the lowest, to the highest, to the lowest, to the highest, and so on and so forth. As you can see, we have managed to draw our arrows. We are going to analyze one last pair, which will be gold against the US dollar. I'm going to try and find the most significant. Yes, we can use this one. I'm gonna use the daily chart. So as you can see, we are gonna use arrows to draw the momentum and establish the momentum for this particular chart. So we'll establish a phase. I want to start from right here. So from this low to the tipping point, to the low, to the high, 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 to the low, to the high. Yeah, this is a current candle. We don't know whether it will close red or green, so I'm gonna follow the momentum. So as you can see, this is the phase that we have chosen, and since you've drawn arrows and you've established that arrows start from one tipping point to the next tipping point of a momentum, that is of an uptrend or a downtrend, or an uptrend or a downtrend, or an uptrend or a downtrend. So we are gonna learn how to use the Fibonacci.